and welcome to News Round, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. I'm Anne Mwawadu. The headlines. Academic Staff Union of Universities suspend 8-month industrial action. President Muhammadu Buhari confers national honors on 450 Nigerians and friends of Nigeria for their contributions to the country's development. Court of Appeal discharges leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, on charges of terrorism, says Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction to try his case. Plus, Kwasi Kwarteng fired as UK Finance Minister, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt appointed as new Chancellor. That's News Round in view. Once again, welcome. News Round begins with what could be described as a heartwarming news for parents and students of Nigerian public universities, as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, on Friday suspended its 8-month industrial action. The president of ASUU, Professor Emmanuel Osedoke, also explained in a statement that the decision was taken after a meeting of the union's National Executive Committee in Abuja. ASUU, however, noted that all the issues in the dispute have been fully thrashed out. This report examines the process that led to the suspension of the strike.
It was February 14 this year when the Academic Staff Union of Universities declared a 4-week warning strike in protest against the federal government. The striking university lecturers are demanding, among other things, the payment of all earned allowances, funding for university infrastructure, as well as the operationalization of the University Transparency and Accountability System, UTAS, which is a platform designed by lecturers for the payment of their salaries. The initial 4 weeks warning strike metamorphosed into an indefinite strike by the end of August 2022, after rolling over the warning strike several times. After several failed attempts to resolve the impasse, including efforts by the Ministry of Labour and Employment, the Ministry of Education, and the Professor Nimi Briggs Committee, President Muhammadu Buhari again in August directed the Minister of Education and the Minister of Labour and Employment to end the strike within 2 weeks. That was according to the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige. Unable to end the strike at a round table, the federal government then referred the matter to the National Industrial Court for arbitration. After 3 adjournments, the National Industrial Court on Wednesday, 21st September 2022, ordered ASUU to suspend the strike and resume negotiations with the federal government. ASUU appealed to judgment while the government proceeded to register 2 new unions in the university system, namely the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA.
Contrary to the Trade Union Act, which provides that there shall be only one trade union in any sector of the economy, the government, through the Ministry of Labour, is going on the path of war, which cannot be justified under the law.
We are not spoilers in any way. We are interested parties in the development of educational system in Nigeria because we are lecturers, and we did not subscribe to ASUU's method of tackling these problems in the Nigerian universities. That is why we formed our own group, and luckily for us, federal government yesterday has granted us our registration.
When the hearing of the appeal started, the justices of the appeal court urged the parties to have an out-of-court settlement, but that did not work out, and the court rejected the appeal by ASUU.
What has happened is that the Honorable Court agreed with our submission that the appellant the Academic Staff Union of Universities, through their council, had approached the Court of Appeal with dirty hands of disobedience of the court. So the Honorable Court granted them a conditional leave to appeal, provided today they must obey the order of the National Industrial Court made on the 21st of September, ordering them to return to classroom.
Exactly 1 week after the ruling of the appeal court, the striking university lecturers announced the suspension of the 8-month-old industrial action which brought academic activities in public universities to a halt.
To legal matters now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has quashed the terrorism charge preferred by the federal government against the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Oludotun Adefokwe Okoje, the court discharged and acquitted him of the 7th count charge pending against him from the Federal High Court in Abuja. The appellate court held that the federal government violated all known international laws and treaties when it forcefully and unlawfully repatriated Mr. Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria for the continuation of his trial without following extradition proceedings.
The atmosphere in the court is quiet, with a few lawyers and litigants waiting to witness proceedings in the appeal filed by the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. After a 2-hour wait, the court delivers its judgment, discharging Mr. Nnamdi Kanu of the 6-count charge of terrorism on the grounds that the trial court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the charges against him. The court held that an unlawful and extraordinary rendition without adherence to due process of the law is a gross violation of all international conventions, protocols and treaties that Nigeria is signatory to, as well as a breach of the appellant's fundamental human rights. The appellate court holds that the federal government failed to controvert the allegation that the IPOB leader was abducted in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria without extradition proceeding. The court further adds that the government was ominously silent on the issue, which is described as very pivotal in determining whether the trial court would still have the jurisdiction to continue with the criminal proceeding before it. The court also notes that Nigeria is a signatory to African Union Convention, which it ratified on April 28, 2022, as well as the Charter on Human and People's Rights, which it said prescribed how a wanted person could be transferred from one country to another through an extradition request, which must be in writing with a statement indicating offenses for which a person is wanted. The appellate court held that the government's action tainted the entire proceeding it initiated against Mr. Nnamdi Kanu and amounted to an abuse of criminal prosecution in general. Although the counsel to the federal government left the court immediately after the judgment, the lawyer to Mr. Kanu reacts to the judgment.
There was one fundamental issue on which the court today anchored its judgment, this intermediate court. And that is that the lower court never evaluated the mountain of evidence placed before it regarding the forceful capture, kidnap, torture, and extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya back to Nigeria on the 26th of June, 2021.
With the verdict of the court, the battle may shift to the Supreme Court as Nnamdi Kanu battles to regain freedom.
Meanwhile, the federal government has vowed to take appropriate legal action in that matter, maintaining that Mr. Kanu was only discharged but not acquitted by the appeal court. Away from the court now, Rivers State Governor Wike has raised fresh corruption allegation against the national chairman of his party, the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia Ayu. He says the national chairman collected the sum of 100 million naira from an unnamed governor, besides the earlier allegation of collecting 1 billion naira from the presidential aspirant without remitting same to the party. Governor Wike was speaking during the media chat in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
Good morning, Your Excellency.
For the second time in 3 weeks, the Rivers State Governor, Wike, is addressing issues on governance and national politics, especially the state of affairs in the People's Democratic Party. Despite the efforts by some chieftains of the party to resolve the rift, Governor Wike says his relationship with the leadership of the party has not improved.
Let ASUU say he did not collect 1 billion. In fact, let me also tell you, ASUU collected 100 million naira from a governor and was going to renovate our Democratic Institute. And then he went back to NWC and took the same 100 million naira of doing the work. If not for the love of this party, if we release what we have, if we did what we have, ASUU children will go to him and say we are no longer children.
The Rivers State House of Assembly recently derecognized Celestine Omehia as former governor, fueling insinuations of victimization for supporting the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, but Governor Wike dismisses the accusation.
If I was to show vindictiveness, I was to do it in that 2015. Because this was a man who dissolved the councils simply because we took advertorial, congratulating someone for his birthday, who was his rival, who was his enemy. And then I suffered it. I did not complete my tenure as the chairman of local government. 7 months. If I was to show vindictiveness, as at 2015, that's when I was to show vindictiveness.
On his recent appointment of 50,000 special assistants, the Rivers State Governor views it as a way of alleviating poverty.
It is part of what we promised our people. If the next government coming cannot go with it, it's an appointment. The government can look, I can't deal with this. Right? The government is not tied to continue with it. But for me, information is key. Remember, this 319 was it the first time I appointed him? It was not last year. The 40 local government last year, is it the first time? People just forget easily.
The governor also explains his intervention in the current flooding ravaging parts of the state.
They are working with the council chairman of these 3 local governments because they are the ones that will know the communities that are fully affected. And from there also, as in terms of expanding, in terms of making sure that these things get to the communities.
As the 2023 general elections draw near, Governor Wike insists his achievement will ensure victory for the PDP in the state.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ayocha Ayu has responded to that latest allegation by Governor Wike as he denied collecting 1 billion naira and another 100 million naira for himself. His reaction is coming as the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party threw its support behind him, maintaining that he should stay in office until the party wins the 2023 general elections.
The leadership of the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees, the national chairman of the party, and some other members of the National Working Committee are attending this meeting to review the reports of the Conciliation Committee of the PDP Board of Trustees. The meeting is expected to come up with a position on the ongoing face-off between 5 of the governors elected under the platform of the party and other members who are calling for the resignation of the national chairman.
In spite of the perceived crisis in the party,
in their separate opening remarks, both the national chairman and the chairman of the Board of Trustees underscored the importance of unity and urged members to be willing to make sacrifices for the party.
This election is for PDP to win, and it's also for us to lose if we are not united. So the aim of this special committee primarily was to find a way of bringing everybody under this, our big umbrella.
we have have only one desire, and that desire is that our party returns to power. And since we came in about 10 months ago, that's all we have been doing.
The meeting then went into closed doors. After about 4 hours of deliberations, the Board of Trustees arrives at some resolutions.
The following resolutions were reached. 1. To urge on the national chairman as an eminent leader to give a firm assurance that he will resign his position after the 2023 elections.
Away from the decision of the PDP Board of Trustees, the party national chairman clears the air on the allegations of corruption leveled against him by the River State Governor, Wike.
On today's allegation, luckily, I had fully briefed the BOT that one of our governors made a contribution of 100 million for the revival of the People's Democratic Institute, which was housed in the Porter cabin. I never collected 1 billion from anybody, and the 100 million that was donated by one of the governors was judiciously used for the purpose that it was given.
The PDP has been enmeshed in an internal crisis, with some members, including Governor of Rivers State, calling for the resignation of the national chairman, a situation that has defied several reconciliation efforts.
Still to come on News Round, we'll find out the latest promise made by President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians. Stay with us. Welcome back. In other stories, the president has restated his resolve to hand over Nigeria free insecurity to the next generation of leaders. President Muhammadu Buhari said this during the investiture of the 2022 National Honors Award conferred on 450 individuals in Abuja. He also maintains that in spite of the current economic challenges in the country, Nigeria still boasts of men and women of integrity.
Hundreds of distinguished Nigerians in various fields, government officials, private sector, creative artists and security officers, among others, converge on the International Conference Center, awaiting the president's arrival. Out of 5,000 entries screened for the 2022 National Honors Award, 450 individuals emerged as winners. And so, for the last time in office, the president arrives to confer national awards to deserving individuals. 6 notable Nigerians are conferred the award of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON. They include the Deputy Secretary of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, among others. 55 Nigerians received the award of the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, including the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, some justices of the Supreme Court, and the Head of Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, service chiefs, and 20 traditional leaders, including the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwashe III, and the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, among others. The late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, as well as the late Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, are given posthumous awards of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. Intermittent cultural dance by Nigerian troops undoubtedly offers some respite for the president, who continues with the presentation of awards to 65 Nigerians conferred with the award of Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, where several state governors, senators, and some senior advocates of Nigeria are recipients. 70 Nigerians are also conferred with Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON. Among the awardees are the Chairman of the Nigeria Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, and the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina. After several hours, the President wrapped up the presentation with awards of Member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR, to 74 Nigerians, Member of the Order of the Niger, MON, to 55 Nigerians, and Federal Republic Medal to 8 Nigerians. President Buhari asserts that the awards is not merely decorative, but a reminder of what needs to be done.
I congratulate all the recipients today who will be joining the League of Awardees. I appreciate the non-Nigerian recipients and assure all of you that this administration will continue to provide the enabling environment for you to undertake your lawful businesses, as I stated earlier in my independence address to the nation. I will hand over a Nigeria that is free from insecurity to the next generation of leaders. Let me appeal to other Nigerians who are here to receive this recognition to be patient and understand that their efforts in nation building are appreciated.
For the awardees, it is an inspiration.
This obligation is one of leadership, more and provision of inspiration to others as well.
I hope that together in commitment to this nation, we all continue to work together with our people across Nigeria to find the growth path that can take us to the Nigeria truly of our dream.
It's humbling, and I think it would challenge one to do more for society in particular, so that we can continue to impact our country in a much more positive manner.
Since 1963, over 5,300 Nigerians have been conferred with National Honors Awards, while 42 Nigerians have been conferred with GCON. The President now is confident that these awards will spur greater growth in the country and translate into bigger gains in the nearest future. From the International Conference Center here in Abuja, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
It's been 1 week of long queues at petrol stations in the nation's capital, Abuja, as motorists spend hours on the queue to buy petrol, also known as premium motor spirit. The cause of the scarcity this time is not the usual action by workers in the oil sector, but it's been attributed largely to the flooding of major parts of Lokoja, the Kogi state capital.
Residents of Lokoja, the Kogi state capital, have been grappling with flooding that has ravaged many parts of the state. Petrol tankers are stuck, goods and services all taking a hit. Incidentally, the effect resonates beyond the state. One of the many places impacted is this NNPC petrol station located at ASUU. It is now a beehive of activity as motorists queue in a long file to get petrol. The gates are opened and motorists make a dash in an attempt to beat the queue. Motorists patiently take turns to be served. Some of them speak on their experience and proffer solutions.
I think what the federal government should do about this is that they should look for alternative, bank to store fuel. Like in Kaduna, there's a depot where fuel should be stored. We shouldn't rely on just one supply chain.
It's the same situation at this NNPC petrol station located at Lugbe Airport Road. One cannot tell the length of this seemingly unending queue, as motorists here wait patiently to be attended to. A tanker drives in with the fuel just in time. And that notwithstanding, some motorists explore the option of buying from roadside fuel hawkers, but at a high cost.
10 liters is 3,000 naira. We are to buy from filling station. 10 liters is about 1,730 naira, depending on the amount the filling station is selling.
The same applies to this filling station visited by our correspondent. This passenger is delighted that the transport fare remains the same despite the scarcity, but some drivers are killjoy.
It's still the same fare from Lugbe here to Bega, 250.
Okay, so there's no increase?
No increase.
You know, today is a public holiday, so tomorrow is a working day. So we are going to increase it to 300 naira.
As motorists grapple with the current realities, residents in the nation's capital are hoping that the federal government will find a lasting solution to the issue of flooding to avoid a recurrence and save the residents the unnecessary and painful experience of waiting in long queues all day for fuel.
A news round ends in the United Kingdom, where the British Prime Minister Liz Truss has fired her Finance Minister Kwasi Kwarteng and also scrapped parts of their economic package in a desperate bid to stay in power and survive the market and political turmoil gripping the country. Liz Truss, in power for less than 2 months, told a news conference that she will now allow a key business levy to rise from next year, raising £18 billion, as she has accepted she had gone further and faster than markets had been expecting. Ms. Truss appointed Jeremy Hunt, a former Foreign and Health Secretary, to replace him. She won the Conservative Party leadership last month by promising vast tax cuts and deregulation to shock the economy out of years of stagnant growth.
I met the former Chancellor earlier today. I was incredibly sorry to lose him. He is a great friend, and he shares my vision to set this country on the path to growth. Today, I have asked Jeremy Hunt to become the new Chancellor. He's one of the most experienced and widely respected government ministers and parliamentarians, and he shares my convictions and ambitions for our country. He will deliver the medium-term fiscal plan at the end of this month. He will see through the support we are providing to help families and businesses, including our energy price guarantee that's protecting people from higher energy bills this winter. And he will drive our mission to go for growth, including taking forward the supply-side reforms that our country needs. But it is clear that parts of our mini-budget went further and faster than markets were expecting. So the way we are delivering our mission right now has to change. We need to act now to reassure the markets of our fiscal discipline. I have therefore decided to keep the increase in corporation tax that was planned by the previous government. This will raise £18 billion per year. It will act as a down payment on our full medium-term fiscal plan, which will be accompanied by a forecast from the independent OBR.
Thanks for watching News Round. I'm Anne Mwawadu.